Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are taking a really fascinating journey. We're going to deconstruct the anatomy of a true heritage Indian brand and completely unpack its recipe for absolute market dominance. If you've ever walked down a snack aisle or maybe just enjoyed a festive family gathering, you absolutely know the name Haldirams. But how exactly did a tiny local sweet shop transform into a total behemoth that literally dictates market trends? Well, we're going to break down the exact marketing strategies, the operational secrets, and the big brand decisions that made it all happen.
And just to put the sheer scale of this into perspective right out of the gate, 80. That is the staggering number of countries Haldiram's exports its traditional flavors to today. Actually, let that sink in for a second. 80 different countries. It's not just a local favorite anymore. It's this sprawling, global snack empire that has somehow successfully packaged the authentic taste of India and shipped it all over the planet, from North America to Europe and way beyond.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the global snack empire. Then, the core marketing recipe. Next, perfecting the customer experience. After that, strengths, weaknesses, and threats. And finally, winning the market.
Kicking things off with Section 1, a global snack empire from Bikaner to the world.
To really understand this brand's dominance, you've kind of got to appreciate its humble origins. Haldiram's was founded way back in 1937, literally as a tiny retail shop in Bikaner, Rajasthan. Fast forward to today, and it's this massive, global food service powerhouse. This isn't just a story about a business surviving, right? It's an absolute masterclass in scaling operations over decades, transitioning from a single traditional storefront to a dominant corporate force. In the specific industry they completely conquered is known as FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods. Let's just demystify this term real quick. Basically, these are products that are sold super quickly and at a relatively low cost. Think packaged foods, beverages, your daily consumables. It's a notoriously high-volume, fast-paced sector where margins can be razor-thin and consumer loyalty is literally everything. And this hyper-competitive space, that's exactly where Haldiram's is now a leading force.
Moving on to Section 2, the core marketing recipe, focusing on product, price, and place.
Looking at the foundational ingredients of what they actually offer, we have to start with product. Haldiram's utilizes this incredibly diverse product portfolio strategy. They've got namkeen and traditional snacks, classic Indian sweets, ready-to-eat meals. They've even got frozen foods, bakery products, beverages, and full-on fresh restaurant meals. Why do all this? Well, offering everything from a frozen dinner to a hot restaurant meal completely insulates them from sudden market shocks. They're always introducing new flavors and really convenient packaging, but their one golden rule is that they never, ever compromise on that authentic Indian taste.
Now, their pricing strategy relies on a beautifully balanced model. It's pretty genius, actually. On one side, you have value-based pricing. This means affordable, mass-market prices with small, medium, and family packs, so folks across all different income groups can afford their products. But on the exact same shelf, you are going to find their premium offerings, these high-end, beautifully designed gift packs specifically made for the festive seasons. They flawlessly capture both ends of the market, urban and rural, everyday snacking, and luxury gifting with these highly strategic pricing models.
Next up is place, or their distribution strategy. Haldiram's uses an omni-channel distribution model. This multi-channel sales approach spans your general corner stores, massive supermarkets, their own company restaurants, e-commerce platforms, and fast food delivery apps. The goal here is ultimate convenience. Their strategy ensures that no matter where you are, a fresh packet of aloo bhujia is practically always within an arm's reach.
Let's look at Section 3, perfecting the customer experience with promotion, people, process, and physical evidence. Think of this next phase as peeking into the kitchen operations and seeing how the brand actively interacts with the public. Let's look at promotion. Historically, Haldiram's relied almost entirely on product quality and simple word of mouth, but today, they utilize a highly integrated promotion strategy. They've evolved to include big, glossy TV ads, super savvy social media marketing, massive festival campaigns, influencer collaborations, the whole 9 yards of digital advertising. But here's the brilliant part. They modernize the medium, while their messaging still heavily emphasizes traditional Indian culture, deep family values, and joyous festive celebrations. They totally kept the soul of the brand intact.
Then we have their people strategy. It's fundamentally a people-first approach. Because behind the massive scale and reach are deeply trained employees and highly skilled chefs. Their core job is to maintain standardized food preparation processes to ensure the taste remains perfectly authentic across millions of batches. They have a massive focus on customer service, and they actively use customer feedback to constantly improve. That human touch is really what keeps the brand grounded.
But that human element has to be perfectly balanced by their process strategy. I mean, how do you feed millions of people with consistent quality? Step 1, automated manufacturing to handle the sheer mind-boggling volume. Step 2, strict quality control and food safety standards to make sure every single bite is perfect. Step 3, fast delivery and highly efficient inventory management. And this brilliantly illustrates how they contrast their deeply traditional culinary roots with a highly automated, cutting-edge, modern supply chain.
And that brings us to the final P of the marketing mix: physical evidence. In the food business, visual cues are absolutely essential. For Haldiram's, this means attractive, highly hygienic packaging, clean and modern restaurant interiors, and a strong, really organized brand identity on retail displays. And pointing this out is crucial because these aren't just aesthetic choices, right? These are deliberate strategies designed to subconsciously reinforce consumer trust every single time you encounter the brand.
All right, Section 4, Strengths, Weaknesses, and Threats. The Critics Rating. Let's start with a quick objective reality check by contrasting their internal strengths and weaknesses. On the strength side, it's formidable for sure. Incredibly strong brand recognition, a massive product portfolio, and an extensive distribution network that breeds legendary customer loyalty. But look at the weaknesses column. Managing a beast this big results in a highly complex organizational structure. Plus, in some categories, their premium perception actually limits their price flexibility, and they still heavily depend on their traditional snack lines to drive core revenue.
So the crucial point is how this internal reality meets the external world. Let's look at the opportunities and threats. The opportunities for growth are huge, expanding into the healthy snack segment, even more international expansion, and riding the wave of quick commerce and online grocery delivery. But the threats, they are very real and they create a lot of friction. They face fierce FMCG competition, rising raw material costs that squeeze those margins, and a major consumer shift toward healthier foods, alongside ever stricter regulatory and food safety compliance.
Tying it all together in Section 5, Winning the Market, the Competitive Strategy.
So how exactly does Haldiram's tie all of these strategies together to maintain their absolute market leadership? It ultimately comes down to targeting an incredibly broad base. Their competitive edge isn't about niching down, it's about going wide, like really wide. They effectively target families, teenagers, young professionals, middle-income consumers, festival shoppers, and the massive global Indian diaspora. They combine authentic taste, incredibly affordable pricing, and an unbeatable distribution network to serve this vast demographic. They're innovating with new product categories while meticulously preserving the traditional favorites that built their name in the first place. Which leads us to a highly provocative question I want to leave you with today. As the world rapidly pivots to health foods and consumer preferences shift toward low-calorie, organic options, can a heritage snack brand famous for its rich, traditional treats pivot with it? Or will the very tradition that built this mighty empire eventually become its greatest weakness? It's a fascinating dynamic. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I hope it gave you a crystal clear view of how a giant really operates, and I definitely encourage you to keep learning and analyzing the brands around you.